Good morning. How are you? Well, it's overcast and it's cold. And just seconds ago, I started getting hit with snow. It's so tiny, I can hear it. At first, I thought it was rain. There is, as I said before, something enlivening about walking outside. It's just, I don't know, it's just so much better to be able to do this. And I think everybody who's able to do it understands it. Moving yourself around, but then moving yourself around past the country is good. So our skies are overcast and our political atmosphere is overcast as well. I guess there are three things to talk about. One, the virus. Two, the Georgia election. And three, those nuts in the Senate who are going to introduce objections that they know are going nowhere because they want to do it. First of all, the virus. I've gotten too many degrees in my life because that was my escape route out of the South Bronx. And nobody I knew went past high school, and I believed that that's how I could do something other than be in the Bronx. And it's not that I suffered in any way. It just seems that there were opportunities and so forth if I could just get a decent education. And among those ideas is the one that science matters. And Fauci on the weekend said science matters, meaning don't dilute the doses to give to people so you have more doses which are less effective and perhaps ineffective entirely over the objections of the FDA, who said these emergency drugs were tested and this is how you should administer it. So the requirements document that, we're taught in information science says, how do you get a full dose and a second full dose to an area for the people to put it in their arm without compromising the requirements to keep it cold until 72 hours before you give it. And dumb people are saying, hey, if we cut it in half, we can have twice as many doses. Yeah, but then they're not effective. So, number one in the Darwin parade are those people that are resisting what the FDA and what Fauci is saying. Number two, we have the Georgia election. Einstein has this notion of frames of reference. He didn't create it, but he used it for his theory of relativity. So based on where you stand, what's going on? So we, the public, you and I, we're interested in the Georgia election because we want the Democrats to win so that there won't be the continued paralysis we've suffered under Moscow Mitch in the Senate. That's our frame of reference. What is Trump's frame of reference? People make a mistake when they take our frame of reference and say that's Trump's. Trump's frame of reference, this is my hypothesis, he hasn't admitted to it, but my hypothesis is he is seeking to give pain to those people who would compromise his continued influence out of office so that he has the ability to continue to influence things after he leaves office on the 20th, whether he's dragged out the door or whatever in his PJs. And so who are his targets? I think he would be comfortable throwing the election in Georgia because it would diminish the role of Moscow Mitch. And it would mean that he, by contrast, was the Republican leader. In addition, when he says, I'm not going to be happy with Pence if he doesn't do what he needs to do, what he's saying is, I know Pence is going to run in 2024 too. So I'm going to put a mark on him that will compromise his ability to succeed me as the influence in the party. And then saying he's going to come back to Georgia to go after the governor and to go after the Secretary of State is also part of that same set of reprisals. And he also hopes, his frame of reference, not ours, to force somebody to do something illegal that would give a hint of credibility to his argument that he was robbed in the election. I know that's a sinister hypothesis, but we have enough data points. And if you're not in the school to say, oh, you don't understand what he's saying. Another aspect of this is those who say, well, he believes what he was doing was fine. And I may have mentioned this before, but when Ari had a meeting at the Cooper Union, and a bunch of us came and talked, one of the defenses of what Trump did with the Ukraine was he believed what he was doing. He wasn't coercing him, and that was like a defense. But a person's intent is objective, not subjective. And when during that discussion I got up to say, I used to sing to my daughter, I believe I can fly. I did try to sing for her, but I'm not going to force this upon you. But what I finished up with is I stood at the end of the stage and I said, well, if I really believe it, I can leap off this stage into this audience. And then a couple actually shied back. And I said, but I'm not delusional. And so that's really the choice. I believe he knows what he's doing. If he doesn't, we should be invoking the 25th Amendment. And for closers, what's going to happen on Wednesday? Wednesday, we have a bunch of traitors, in my opinion, who seek to undermine our election by making charges without evidence, knowing at the outset it's going to fail, for no other reasons than to posture themselves as the alternatives to Trump. Now, a good thing has happened in that Republicans who believe in the institution or realize there's some contradiction between Republicans who won in exactly the same states should be compromised by the president's approach to this, who also oppose the objections. So they're going to fail. But what's happened is we're giving voice to a seditious and traitorous theme that we will see in successive elections if we do not prosecute the president, do not show discipline to those members of Congress in the House and the Senate who do this. So that's kind of my, as fast as I can think of it, review of the three things that concern me. Now, as I tell my wife and you and myself, this too will pass, but this is wrong. And if we don't find a way to push back and declare it wrong and to make it clear it's wrong, we have only ourselves to blame when it comes back again in the next election, in the midterms, in the next presidential. This is unacceptable for future elections, and we have to stop it now. So, have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. All the best. Bye-bye.